I had never actually met anyone who's been to Malaysia who doesn't like the food.
Yeah.
Never. I had a lady that I cooked for, and she's eaten all over the world. She said, do you know how to make roti canai? And I was like, yes. I was like, oh, that's my favorite. And this woman is like really privileged, has eaten in, I'm sure, all the Michelin stars in the world, all the luxury thing. And in her mind, it's roti canai. I feel very privileged whenever I go back to Malaysia. This is in our doorstep. And yet we favor foreign foods. Because I think we're not the only one. If you grew up with good food, you always like wanted to try something else, I guess. Not until you move away that you find actually you have a deeper appreciation of the food and a deeper appreciation of this hawker aunties and uncles that bends over, that makes that bowl of laksa.
Why, hello there, food lovers, and welcome to The Hungry Immigrant, the place where flavors cross borders and cultures unite. I'm your host, Abang Brian, coming to you with stories, secrets, and the irresistible charm of Asian cuisine and heritage. Each week, we'll journey into the heart of what makes food more than just a meal. We'll talk to chefs, celebrities, home cooks, and food enthusiasts who have brought their heritage to our tables. From the bustling streets of Kuala Lumpur to the vibrant markets of Manila and Seoul to the Chinatowns of New York, Paris, and Toronto, we're exploring the magic of food that connects us all. So join us as we delve into the rich tapestry of Asian food culture and heritage, celebrating the traditions and innovations that make our culinary world so diverse and exciting. Now, get ready as today's episode promises to be a flavorful journey.
I know I'm from Ipoh and I'm very biased. We have our, bean curd. We have our kaisi salva. We have our hor fun. Have you tried the soft, delicious hor fun? Again, the water and things like that. Although now I feel like Ipoh is actually overcrowded with tourists, I have to say. But Ipoh has always been the hidden gem. I always say, tourists that actually say, oh, where should we go? I want to go to Penang. I want to go to Langkawi. Penang's amazing for street food. Yes, it is. But for tourists from other places, they always go to Penang. But for people who knows within like Malaysia or Singapore or whatever, they always come to Ipoh. Because Ipoh is where you will find an amazing food. And in such small concentration as well. So there's a trail that you do, like you go to this place that has yong tofu, the stuffed tofu with a vegetable with the fish paste or sometimes pork, but usually and with the different noodles. It's called Under a Big Tree. This Singaporean chef texted me and said, what I'm going to Ipoh, what should I eat? I gave her a list and the Big Tree is one of them. And she texted me one day, I was like at an event, she texted me, she went, Ping, disaster, say lo, she said. I was like, why? What? In Cantonese means, die. I said, why? It's like, I think disaster, I went to the wrong one. I said, well, how can you go to the wrong one? There's only one big tree there. She said they were hungry, so they saw this other store that actually selling like yong tofu and stuff. So they went there, they finished the meal, then they go around the site, and then they saw the big tree. They say, oh my God,
You went to the
say Lord, we went to the wrong one. By that time, they were full.
Yeah.
And he said, I was like, what should I do? And I said, you're going to miss out on that sargot, which is like deep fried jicama. It's a form of turnip, but it's sweet.
Okay.
It's called sargot. So they shred it and they wrap it in bean curd and they deep fry. And this place is amazing. Everything else is amazing, but that particular one, during COVID, someone managed to sell it over here for £20 for 5 pieces, and they sold out.
Oh, wow.
Because people were so desperate for it. So it's like really, really delicious, crunchy and sweet. So she went over and she tapao some. Tapao means people there to take away. Yeah. And I was like, that's how committed she is. And she said, Ipoh food is amazing. It's like, but I'm only here for 3 days, the marathon, that I cannot finish all the list. I was like, well, you just have to come back.
That's one thing Malaysians are very well known for, hospitality. I think we're very warm and welcoming to anyone who comes to our country. And
And do you agree that we actually don't care what your name is? The first thing we'll ask a stranger,
Are you hungry?
yeah,
You eat
have
already?
you eaten?
Yeah, have you eaten? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, dah makan dah.
Yeah.
So it's what I always tell people, that food for us is not just, food. For us, it's a whole lot more, something to start a conversation, something to bridge that awkwardness, something to actually tell people who we are and what we're about. It's all about food. And I did a TED talk on this called Food is Your Superpower. And when I moved to this country, when I went to uni, so I find it very useful for me and it's worked wonders. And not to mention, if you know how to cook, the bribery that you can do.
It's true. That's very true. Okay, let's come back to talking about cooking in strange places. Right? You've been cooking everywhere in the world. You recognize there are certain ingredients that come from certain places. How has it been like cooking Malaysian food in the UK or like all these strange places that you've traveled to? What are the challenges like? Do you adapt the recipes? Do you believe in adaptation?
It's a really good question. The first time I ever cooked, one of the contract that I so love doing was actually cooking in France.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I went to Val d'Isère.
Okay.
And I went to Val d'Isère to basically teach a whole lot of chefs that's from different culture, mainly white, European culture, to cook satay sauce.
Okay.
And spring rolls and things like that. Because I came up with the idea, like, we want to bring Asia to the mountains. And in Val d'Isère, if you ever have you ever been to Val d'Isère?
No, I've not had the chance to.
It's very mountainous food. It's very cheese, very bread.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Very meaty.
Yeah.
So cheese fondue and things like that. It's very heavy because obviously they need the energy. So a lot of the food are very bread-based and cheese-based. They do this amazing Beaufort cheese, which is like delicious.
Yeah.
But you can't have that the whole week. Well, I certainly can't. So I said to the team that I work with, which is a really lovely kind of high-end traveling company, I say, let's do a menu, because when you go to holiday with them, it comes with a chef in the chalet and it comes with a host. So you don't have to worry about anything else. You just turn up and they need to take care of all the things. So our whole thing is like, I take Asia to you, to the mountains. So I devise a menu that has satay sauce, it has spring rolls, it has like different salads and things like that, and stews and curries and things like that. So it's warming because it's cold.
Yeah. That's the thing that I always say, like, in cold countries, they should have more of Asian food and now broth.
Yeah.
Because like, I think the idea of a broth is very unifying. And the story that your mother put on a broth in the morning is like, the broth is very central to our culture where, if someone is too skinny or someone's not well, we'll just say like, because you don't drink enough soup.
Yeah. I mean, other culture has the same thing. It's not like Jewish is always like the Jewish chicken soup. So it's very central to our culture, but it's also something that, people get, a broth. It's so warming and so hot. But with this Val d'Isère lot, and then I quickly realized when I send the ingredients list over, they're like, this we can't get, this we can't get, this we can't get. And one of the spring roll has chestnuts in it. And you think tin chestnuts. It's so easy to get in the UK. So it didn't even cross my mind that we couldn't get it. So I was like, okay, what then? And then it was so fascinating. So I worked with a chef there who's actually been in France for a while and really wanted to try Asian food. And it's like, you know what? There is an ingredient in France called crossness. Okay. And it's like a little worm. It looks like a little worm. It's like kind of like a fat little worm. It's crunchy. So the texture, it's like water chestnuts.
Right.
So we use that instead. Works absolutely brilliantly. Then they didn't have spring roll pastry. Right. So I was like, what about feu de brick? Like the pastry. Yeah. And it works brilliantly. It makes me learn a lot on substitution of ingredients. And I think it's fascinating that the fact that we can use the substitute. I make a gochujang or Korean sauce without any of the Korean sauce because you kind of understand the components and you kind of try to pick up things like recently in Germany, pick up ingredients that they have to try to emulate that sauce. It's not perfect, but it works and it's tasty.
Yeah.
So for me, actually substituting ingredients and finding substitutions is highly fascinating for me.
So my question here is, how do we then separate like making it authentic? Do you believe in the word authenticity?
No,
Mm-hmm.
I do not.
Why not?
Because something is authentic is something real to somebody, right? You can go to Malaysia and you can have 500 different versions of laksa. Which one is authentic? We have rendang tok. We have different types of rendang.
We have like every region, and I always say like every village is different.
Every household is
Yeah,
different.
yeah.
So is it not authentic? That the one that you try in, let's say, is authentic to that family, is authentic for me, I think is a word that is actually, I don't like using because my recipe is authentic to me. I like to have it this way. Okay, the basics of making a laksa. I mean, every laksa, it has to have coconut milk, has to have chilies, it has to like that. If that met the condition of a laksa being called a laksa, then great. You know, you're not going to have a clear bowl of soup and call it laksa.
Yeah.
So if the basic conditions are met, what you put in it and how you make it is completely up to your own kind of imagination and creativity and availability of ingredients.
That's very real, yeah.
And I want to keep it real here. I want to keep it like, I don't have the ingredients, but how can I make this without that? It has to meet a certain, if I genuinely cannot find the basic ingredients to make it, like you can't cook a sambal without putting chilies in it.
Yeah. Okay.
So if there's no chilies, that's not a sambal, isn't it?
Yeah.
But then what I put in my sambal, it's completely up to me. You know, I can't call it inauthentic because I put certain ingredients in it. So I once made a satay sauce. I didn't have any tamarind. They did not have any tamarind. So I can't put the acidity in that.
Yeah.
So I actually found pomegranate molasses works really, really well. So if you can't find tamarind, use pomegranate molasses. Balance out the flavor.
Yeah.
But I think that's more exciting in cooking. The fact that you're able to find other ingredients to match or be similar to what you're actually wanting it to taste. I think that's more.
Right.
That's more exciting than being, sticking to like, this is how it's supposed to be done. Because then we'll have boring food.
Being a cookbook author myself as well, I think the reason why we write cooking books is because we want it to be accessible also to people. So run us through the thoughts that went through your mind when you first published your book in 2016, all about Malaysian recipes, right? I only know UK through London, which I feel that there's a very vibrant Asian culture in certain parts of it. And so I would assume that you may be able to get ingredients quite easily and whatever not, but you were writing a book for the whole of Europe maybe, right? What was your mindset, mentality going into writing that book? Because, you want to make it accessible.
I think my mindset was really simple because I came from experience of someone moving here, not able to actually find some of the ingredients. And then eventually I did find them. But most of the book is all about being accessible, cooking Malaysian food with the things that you can buy in your local supermarket, most of the things, 80% I would say in that book, you can buy in your normal supermarket.
Right.
And now, so many years on, we are better at sourcing ingredients because Asian food are so much more popular. So obviously there's a demand there. So, in our supermarket, you can get those things, okay, the things like dry shrimps maybe, or anchovies like ikan bilis, you can't get, but in Asian shop you can get, and we have plenty around.
Yeah.
So in my mind, when I wrote that book, it has to be accessible because I started from a home cook. I'm still a home cook. Yes, I do food as a professional cook, a professional chef. I can call myself a chef.
Yeah.
But where my food stems from is at home. It's where I bring my home to your home. So it's kind of like from one home to the other. So if I can cook it at home, and I don't use crazy ingredients. I don't use crazy equipment. A hob.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all you need, and a pan. That's all you need. I don't use crazy ingredients or crazy things because I believe that you have to be able to cook with just simple equipment that everyone has in your household. So
Wait, what ingredient I want to ask you? Because like this, everywhere I travel around the world, this is the one ingredient everyone will say there's a problem.
Yeah.
You guys in London or UK have bunga kantan.
No.
See?
I knew you would ask that.
I'm telling you, people watching now, right? If you are in Malaysia and you have a bunga kantan farm, it's a big, huge market. I traveled to like France, to UK, to Helsinki, to Norway, everywhere. Everyone says we have coriander, we have Vietnamese coriander, we have cuscus, we have everything. The only thing we don't have is is it called blue torch ginger in English?
Blue torch.
Blue
yeah.
torch ginger or whatever. Bunga kantan. And that is a distinct flavor that I really love in Assam.
No, there's one thing you cannot substitute.
Right?
There are many things you
How
can't
do you
do, but
explain the
that
flavor
one,
of blue torch ginger?
it's kind of fragrant with the ginger,
Fragrant of ginger without the taste. Maybe.
but also it can actually taste a little bit soapy.
It is true. It is true.
But it is a very distinct things that actually you can never substitute. But I found a company that does dry.
Okay.
So it dries it and you rehydrate it. It's actually not bad.
Not bad, right?
But it doesn't have that freshness of that bunga kantan.
Yeah.
You can't import it like bean sprouts.
Yeah.
The moment it comes, it turns black.
So bunga kantan also,
You
you guys need to push for AOC, Appellation Origin Contrôlée, right? I'm going to introduce it to Malaysia.
You need to.
already talked about that.
You need to actually grow here, but you can't. It's like when I went to Borneo, it's everywhere.
Correct.
They just in the garden. I just don't pick
It's like lemongrass. Lemongrass is like almost like weeds, like growing
yeah,
on the side.
wheat and things like that. But here it's really you cannot get it. So Assam laksa without that is, and karabu also.
Yeah.
So that's one of my mom's favorite ingredient and also my favorite thing to eat. So I recently taught a class in Malaysia. So I go back to Malaysia and teach class.
Yeah, so that's why I was asking you. So tell me about this also.
every week, every year.
Like sometimes like the first thing I texted her was like, are you actually based in London or are you based in Malaysia? And she says none. Because I'm outside London. I was like, okay, you're in that country, right? Because I was going to UK. But like, because sometimes I see you work with, I don't know, you go back to the Saru, you go back to like, there's so many things that you...
I go back.
What do you do actually?
I actually go back to Malaysia and I like to use that opportunity to go to different kind of like hotels and resorts. So I work with YTL quite a lot.
Right.
And they own a Pangkolat Resort, Tanjung Jara. So last year I went to Tanjung Jara and the year before I went to Gaya Island, which is also them. So we have a really good relationship. So I like to work with people who gets me and also they are so supportive. We reach out to each other and then our relationship just works. We have a great understanding of what we do, both sides, and what we bring to the table. Every year I go back to one of their properties and I devise a cookery class which is distinct to their property. I also like do things bespoke to the client. So I know that working with YTL, their resorts and their properties are all distinct to where they are. So Pangkolat Resort is all about island life, about like
the dried fish.
The fish, the things like that, it's all about that. Tanjung Jara is all about Malay life and Gaya is all about, kind of the Borneo culture and things like that. So my classes are distinctively match the property and also the culture of that particular property. Well, this year, Tanjung Jara is all about Malay cooking. So, and fish. They are very, very famous for fish in Terengganu. So, of course. So, and also, I did an Assam fish. I teach my students how to make an Assam fish. And then I also, they do this little akok, which is like a pancake with, so I teach them how to make an akok, which is very distinct to Terengganu. And for me, I like to enjoy resort life, I took my family, they're able to actually enjoy the resort. It's a win-win.
Okay, YTL, if you want to adopt me, please adopt me. I will go with Ping, okay? I'll go with Ping and then like she can cook and I'll talk all about the food and we shed some light on the bespokeness of each outlet and because it's the culture. So like you said, again, Malaysia is like fused of so many things and people only talk on one side of our culture. And like one thing that when you talk about Terengganu that came to my mind straight away, both Terengganu, mostly Terengganu actually, and what's the east coast of Malaysia?
East coast.
We're very well known for fish and we have so much fish that it's culturally a thing. For tea time, people will eat fried fish.
Yes.
Fish, because there's so much fish and it's so good and it's a simple batter and you fry. So you have, normally people here probably will have like evening tea with like coffee or tea and some biscuits. They have it with fish, fried fish.
Yes.
And I was like, wow, this is amazing.
It's in abundance and obviously don't forget the leko.
I'm so different. That's the other thing you cannot find here, right?
Well, I can make with mackerel. So the
yeah.
closest things, I tried it with different dish, but mackerel is the best.
No, but you know, leko, so keropok leko is actually it's an art altogether. There's like the chewy ones, there's a steamed one, there's a fried one, there's a lurang one, there's the different parang fish or whatever, different fish depending. So it's an art altogether. And
The fish
Mackerel.
crackers in Terengganu, and it's the parang fish and whatever fish that they have. You go to the market, it's in abundance what they have. So I work with the chef and we devise it, and it was like we need to feature fish and we need to use a fish that is local to Terengganu. So we went to the fish market and then we let the students see what is in abundance in Terengganu. Because for me, a cooking class isn't just about cooking the dishes.
Correct.
We need to understand what is actually around you that's outside the resort. Because people holiday differently. It's unfathomable to me, like, to go to a place and not step out of the resort. I cannot do that. Because I don't holiday like that. But plenty of people will actually fly to a place, say a resort in Mexico, and never step out of the resort. So you can be anywhere in the world. As actually, I've been to Mexico. So how was Mexico? I don't know. I was in a resort. Well, like for 2 weeks. Okay, all right. It's something that I wouldn't do. So I like to incorporate the culture of my country and the different parts of the country into my cooking class so that it makes it interesting for them.
yeah.
You know, and it makes it interesting for me.
I think I always try to do, like, wherever I go, like, I would try to have a cooking class. Like, and I will not tell anyone I'm a chef, because then they were like, "Ooh, okay, it's a chef, you got to do it properly." I'm like, no.
Yeah.
So like the one experience I had that I really loved was in Greece. We just took this random cooking class and they brought us to the mountains, and literally the sheep was there and everything was around, and like we cooked with, like, it was very like raw, you know, and it's in the mountains and it was all ingredients, and they were like, "Oh, let's go to the garden now to pick some of this stuff or that stuff." And I think that really also tells me the way they live, shares with me their culture. The way they live is very important because they own that farm, and like, so the reason why they had this cooking class was the son is now more open to, like, you know, online stuff and whatnot, so they market it online. But it was the mom who didn't speak no English, who was doing it. He was just translating, and it was really, really fun. And like we did like stuffed tomatoes and stuff like that. But oh my god, it tasted like I was like, oh, so that's it.
Yeah,
Like,
but it tasted out of this world, right?
Easy, and because it's because of the terroir again, like where it comes from. But Ping, our show, I think I can sit here. I don't know. I don't know why I've never met you. I think God put you in my way, and I think that this conversation needs to be continued more times. I felt that is that someone who gets me, and like my best friend, like, you know, like she's like, yeah. It's like, it's really like she's like, yeah. I'm like, oh my god, this person. So I think I can sit here and talk. I think I can go on holiday with you for 2 weeks and not run out of things to say. But our show is coming to an end. I will formally now, if you are willing, extend an invitation for you to join us on another episode, because I think we've only touched the surface of the many things that we can talk about, and it's so nice to talk to someone who is also so passionate about the origins of our culture, the origins of our food, respecting not only the food but our farmers. I think a lot of people come on the show with that mindset, but like to be so enthusiastic as you are.
Some people would think that I'm a little bit too much. Like, you talk about food all the time, being it's like, yeah, but you know, also because it's my thing, and also like I love to talk about food, how I see it, and I want to get people to be interested in Malaysia. But it's just food in general. Like, if someone say to me, it's like, oh, you know, we should go for dinner with these people, but they don't really like food. It's like, no, thank you. Like, how much, like, if they don't like food, like, why are you introducing them to me? It's like, it's like, thanks. It's like, they're going to be so much fun. It's like, I have limited time. I don't want to be associated with people who doesn't like food.
Okay, block. Anyways, now this is one of the segments which now I'm very nervous about, because she's very well known for she won the whole Masterchef with her nasi lemak, and she's very particular about sambal. I have a segment on the show called the Sambal Survey, where I travel the world with 3 sambals, and we just want to see which one you like the most.
Okay.
So this is the Sambal Survey, where I travel the world with 3 different sambals. I will tell you now, one is made by me, one is made by a very famous nasi lemak chain in Malaysia, And one is made by another foodie influencer who sold like 1 million worth of sambal in 3 hours on TikTok. So these are 3 different sambals. You can taste them. And as you taste them, I would invite you to tell us what you're tasting, what you're seeing. This is not meant to be serious. I'm telling her this when she's looking so intensely at the sambal. Like, okay.
Very hungry, lah. I was like, where's the rice?
Yeah, okay. So this is something that I need to improve on. Like, obviously, because I travel the world with like this sambals. Sambals I can bring everywhere, but rice I have to cook on the. Okay.
You should have told me I should cook some rice.
That's the thing I'm going to do next time. Every time this invitation for podcast, please prepare rice.
Okay.
Okay.
Let me see.
Let me see. Wow, this garang auntie,
It's so funny, right? When you're like having like a rice day. You know, my next book is all about rice.
Yeah, so let's talk about that while you're smelling that. You are coming out with a next book which you are going to launch targeted when?
Targeted 2026, Chinese New Year.
All right, and it's all about rice.
All about rice. Okay, it's got the separation of the oil, and this is a good looking sambal. So it has like the split oil, pecah minyak.
Yeah.
So
there's the word split. I keep on like finding that word. I always say like the oil separates. Pecah means split oil.
Split.
Yes.
So it's pecah minyak means split oil. So like we know, all sambals and all kind of rempah, it has to fry until it pecah minyak. It's an indication where all your ingredients being prepared and cooked properly, like the chilies and the onions and all the aromatics has lose their bitterness. This is where it becomes sweet. Yeah, you can taste it if something is not cooked out, it's bitter. So I think that's what. And then the smell, smell sambali.
Sambali. So to be a little bit more accurate, so like in Malaysia, the other book I want to write is sambal. Because in Malaysia, we have like hundreds of sambals, and definitions of sambals go beyond just like a relish that we like to use with nasi lemak.
This sambal is very sweet. Very sweet. I like my sambal more savory. So this is definitely, I would say, this is very nasi lemak sambali.
Right.
A lot of people prefer sweet sambal, I guess. This is quite nice, but I prefer mine a bit more savory. But I would quite happily eat this with rice.
Yes, she's been eating 3 times already. Okay, next.
This is also got pecah minyak, so it's been fried properly, and this is more. What is that distinct taste? It smells more fishy. It's also sweet. It's got some fish in it. It's more like it's got ikan bilis, or what ikan is it in there? This sambal it's got much more texture. It's kind of fishy, more fishy than this. I would say this, if you're a connoisseur or you're like more Malaysian, more Asian, we prefer this sambal to this. This is probably a good introduction for other people who don't know sambal that much.
And the last one, this sambal, for whatever reason, I can assure you, it's not, I'm not going to say which is mine, but I can assure you, it's special minyak. But I think the minyak that they use, or the fat that they use, they mix because it congeals. Because we are in a cold country right now. Because you don't see the pecah, kan?
No.
But
tell you what I can taste in here. Kicap manis. Not as sweet as this. But it's got good heat. It's okay. It's not got like the fish or anything like that in there.
This is serious business with Ping Coombes, okay? Always serious business. But yeah. So this is just for fun, all right? So which is your favorite? The first, second, or third? She is. I'm just saying this for fun. Doesn't have to be. She's like really trying to be like very, very precise in her tasting. And only a Malaysian can do this, okay? Most people when they reach the third one, they'll be like, okay, this is not fair because my palate is already ruined by the first 2. And this lady is like taking 3 spoonfuls every time.
I can tell you my least favorite is this one.
Ooh.
Because it's way too sweet. I think it's not like very in-depth with flavor. I think I would like to eat rice with this one. And then this one is okay. I can actually have it. It's not that. Like if someone give it to me, I will quite happily eat it. But I will tell you now that if you're going to sell this too, this one is much more expertly done because it's got like that fishy taste in it. But most people will pick this one.
Wow. Okay. So, this is your favorite.
Which is my favorite.
Yeah.
If I have to buy one,
Yeah.
I probably buy this one.
Okay. So, if you think that Ping Coombes actually chose mine, you've got to check out the video on your YouTube. And if you're listening to this on Spotify, just stop and look at the screen. We will only reveal it. So, I think we're keeping score as well. I don't know how well my sambal is doing. I don't think it's doing that bad. But let's see what Masterchef Ping says. Okay. Anyways, before we go, I think we need to give a shout out, number one, to your book, which is coming out 2026.
Yeah.
Second of all, she's also a businesswoman who is producing a lot of yummy curries, apparently.
We do. It's called Ping at Home. So we started in COVID and we send out like curries. It's a pre-order thing because we don't like waste. And we'll only do a limited numbers of freshly made curries. It could be rendang, it could be kapitan, it could be anything, laksas and things like that. And people pre-order and we send it. It's called Ping at Home. And we try to like in the future expand it to frozen so that you can always have like a ping curry at home. And also we're doing our peanut and shallot chili oil. So I can't reveal much, but
I was just going to ask her, what is that? Okay.
it's a chili oil with like crispy shallots in there, kind of like fried by us, like garlic and crunchy peanut. And you drizzle on anything lah. Anything apart from ice cream. I'm told that people drizzle on ice cream as well. And a major retailer are probably gonna take it, like a major high-end retailer. So it's made with a virgin rapeseed oil. It's made with really good oil and really good ingredients. It's just a very umami bomb. And so that's what we're going to try to do. More frozen curries and more kind of condiments that actually goes with everything.
We will wish you all the best with,
Thank you.
I hope this major retailer who is listening now, just put it on the shelf, okay? But other than that, I wish you all the best. And I think this warrants another 2 or 3 or maybe a whole season with Ping and Ryan. Because then we can go on talking. I think if we actually select, let's say, for example, talk about char kway teow, I think it can spend 1 hour talking about.
Or we can talk about char kway teow, or we can talk about sambal.
Or we can talk about sambals and so I wish you all the best. We will definitely reconnect to, if any way at all I can contribute to your book or help you out with anything at all, please reach out. We're all about celebrating Asian pride through our food culture and heritage. So I tell this to everyone, whatever product you're putting out there, whatever you want to, whatever message, whatever event, whatever classes, whatever, just let us know. We will post it for you.
Okay.
So we're all about creating
Likewise.
community. Before we go, any other way people can contact you, keep in touch with you, keep up to date with all the 1,000 things that you're doing, your socials maybe?
Yeah, socials, just Ping Coombes on Instagram and also on my website, Ping Coombes, www.pingcoombes.com. And they'll have all the information in that. And I think nowadays I use Instagram a lot more really.
Right.
And I'm not cool to have a TikTok video because my daughter's like, no, Mom, you can't have a TikTok video. It's for cool people only, kind of, I don't know how it works. I'm like terrible. It's like, and I don't know. It's just, I don't think I felt like I'm cool enough to actually have a TikTok video, I'm not going to start about dancing, right?
Right.
But, the day that it comes when I'm dancing, it's like, you got to tell me, Ping, what are you doing?
All right, with that, thank you very much, Ping, again for welcoming us to your very windy
It is a windy
escape
day
here.
in England today.
Yeah, the wind is no joke. Like literally I was just telling you, the car door almost slammed into my face because I thought like, why you should tell me it's windy? Like this is wind, no joke. But thank you very much for joining us and I will definitely see you again. I feel this amazing connection that it's very rare for me to feel just through a podcast. I'm not just saying this to you,
Yeah.
just because you're here and whatever. No, I don't say this. My editor behind the camera can assure you. So I think we will definitely connect in so many other ways and we'll keep in touch. And besides this podcast, definitely more episodes with you. We should do like masak or like some cooking episode together. That'll be fun.
I think likewise, I feel like a connections. We can talk about food all the time. I think that you kind of get where I'm going with this. So yeah, I can talk sambals. So which one is yours?
The one that you didn't pick lah. But no, you did kind of pick it. But yeah, so anyways, this is the end of our show for this time around. Because if not, I've got to stop it because me and Ping are going to go on and on and on. So to all listeners, thank you very much for tuning in. As usual, I will always remind everyone to keep their plates adventurous and their hearts open. My name is Abang Brian. This is The Hungry Immigrant.
Terima kasih and thank you for joining us on yet another episode of The Hungry Immigrant. It's been a delightful feast of stories and flavors that remind us just how much food brings us together. Now don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform so you'll never miss an episode. And if you loved today's culinary journey, leave us a review and share the episode with your friends and family. Your support helps keep our traditions alive and our tables more diverse. Do follow us on Instagram at Hungry Immigrant and my personal account Abang Brian for behind-the-scenes looks and extra tidbits from each episode. We love to see how food inspires you, so do tag us in your next food adventure. I'm Abang Brian, reminding you to savor every bite and cherish every moment at the table. Until next time, keep your plates adventurous and your hearts open.